There's a lot of people in the White House who you don't really hear much about. Sure, we want to hear from the Attorney General, Secretary of Defense, or Homeland Security guy. But the Department of Interior, Agriculture, Transportation, I'm already bored. They're important jobs, but if they're on camera, there's a problem. Can you name Clinton's Secretary of Transportation? What about Bush's or Obama's or Trump's? You don't know their names because you don't have to. But I bet you know Biden's. Mayor Pete, who's on TV more than Fauci. When the guy was running for president, nobody knew who he was. Who's this guy?
John Lennon or somebody? From the Beatles?
John Lennon?
Is he from the Beatles?
It's like Tom Hanks.
Wait, is that you?
No!
I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
Do we look alike?
A little bit.
Really?
A tiny bit.
Now they know him. Every time there's a travel catastrophe, Pete's on TV. It started with the supply chain. When we were getting worried we weren't going to be able to get Christmas presents in time, Pete told us to shop early.
I think there's always been two kinds of Christmas shoppers. There's the ones who have all their list completed by Halloween, and then there's people like me who show up at the mall on Christmas Eve. If you're in that latter bucket, obviously there's going to be more challenges.
When flights were delayed last summer because of the pilot shortage, the vax mandate, Pete clapped. And when rail unions were about to strike, Pete was in Portugal getting tan. When a snowstorm crippled the country, thousands of flights were canceled. Pete said he'd get you a refund. Did you get your refund yet? I don't think you did. And today, every flight in America was canceled. Every flight. This time, Pete couldn't blame the airlines or the weather. The FAA's computers went down, and thousands of us were stranded. But don't worry, Pete called Biden.
I just spoke with Buttigieg. They don't know what the cause is, but I was on the phone in about 10 minutes. I told them to report directly to me when they find out.
So Pete called the president to tell him he doesn't know what happened. And the conversation lasted 10 minutes. I'm really glad Biden shared that with us. But it doesn't matter if America grounds more flights, and we did since 9/11. Biden still loves Pete.
Does President Biden have confidence in Transportation Secretary Buttigieg?
Yes.
Why?
Because Secretary Buttigieg he respects the secretary and the work that he has been doing.
Okay, so our very own stupid son of a bitch stumped her. Let's see if she can answer an easier question like, what day is today?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. Okay. Monday. See? That is how my week is going.
Every week's a tough week for that lady. So the computers went down and thousands of flights were just gone. We're going to blame the Russians, right?
Any indication that there was a cyber attack involved?
There's been no direct evidence or indication of that, but we are also not going to rule that out until we have a clearer and better understanding of what's taking place. But again, no indication of that at this time.
I'm shocked Democrats didn't blame the Russians. I mean, that was a layup. But their computers are ancient. Everybody knows this. If one guy trips over a telephone cord, the whole thing goes down. Why hasn't Pete been banging the table demanding new computers? Pete, can we get a refund since this one's on you?
Should the government be reimbursing people who missed flights and now have to take hotels about their expenses as they are required to do by you when it's the airline's fault?
Well, we're not for-profit companies selling tickets the way an airline is. Our responsibility is to make sure that everybody is safe, and we are always going to err on the side of safety.
Maybe this is Pete's way of making us bike. I'm not shocked. This is happening when he was mayor in Indiana. He couldn't even figure out how to fill the potholes.
His hometown South Bend Tribune wrote in 2018 of major issues with potholes. It's the worst that area repair shops can remember in well over 10 years, with lines of vehicles awaiting repair for pothole-related damages nearly every day.
Pete got the job in the cabinet because he dropped out, endorsed Joe over Bernie, and likes to talk about racism. The guy was on a racist bridge tour while the FAA computers crapped out. And instead of fixing the computer system, they renamed it. It's called NOTAM, which used to stand for Notices to Airmen, but that's not inclusive. Airwomen must have been offended, or air they. And so Pete changed it to Notices to Air Mission, and patted himself on the back, job well done. And then it all fell apart. What about the billions in funding that the FAA gets? What did they use that money for? Did they upgrade anything? Well, we took a look at Biden's little infrastructure bill, and they sent a lot of cash to the FAA. But it wasn't really clear if any of that was used for computers. We do know they're using $20 million for racial equity, and they set aside $15 billion in discretionary funding to help promote environmental justice. And now he's shaking down Congress for even more cash. He'll probably use it to buy the flight attendants gender-neutral luggage. Don't tell Sticky Finger Sammy that. We got our hands on footage from an FAA summit, and they're brainstorming how to make people see that inclusion is more important than safety.
It's interesting because safety is, separate from the mission, but is more integral to any mission, to any technical goal, any objective than diversity and equity and inclusion in particular. So how do we make them more of the same? How do we show that important, particularly with inclusion?
Integral. They also talked about how it's easier to fly a plane if you can tell your co-pilot you're gay.
If we have inclusive language and everybody is using that inclusive language, I'm going to be comfortable. And yes, I am part of the LGBTQ, and I feel absolutely great about bringing my ideas. And once I'm free of having to hide and do all these things, boy, my creativity can be absolutely put into work and come up with those ideas to solve problems and make aerospace the safest in the world.
They want the cockpit to be a safe space. And this is just the first step.
The idea of using pronouns and everybody representing who they want to be. And I think that's really the first step. We're looking at all of the language that is used on an everyday basis and seeing if it is holding any patriarchal views or excluding people or setting up a specific standard of participants that it shouldn't be.
Just stop people from fighting in coach and take off on time. That's really all we want. So they have the money to hire a team to sniff out patriarchal views, but can't buy new computers. The FAA's Inclusion Task Force isn't messing around. If you use the wrong pronoun or worse, joke about pronouns, you might be driving a bus next month.
Regarding pronouns, people would make a lot of jokes about it, such as like, well, I identify as a strawberry, so call me a strawberry now, which was just not appropriate.
Just fly the plane. I don't care how my pilot identifies, just identify on time.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.